Hi guys, how are you? I'm back with Paige,
Yep.
my trusty assistant. We have something really cool to show you. Remember the experiment that we were doing with the dirt and the sand and the dirt and the sand and the worms in it, and they were making tunnels yesterday? Well, you have to see this. This is so cool.
It's amazing.
Oops, hold on.
We just need to get a flashlight up. So
You
you
can
guys can
see-
see that there's a worm right there making a tunnel.
Can you see that worm?
Yep, they
making
can.
a tunnel in
They
there?
can see it very clearly. See?
Those worms are hard at work eating all that dirt and making those tunnels in there. So our experiment is going really, really, really well. I'm glad that I decided to keep that experiment going for a couple of days instead of putting all this back into the garden. I'm glad that I kept watching it. I might watch it for one more day and still see what happens, if I can see more worms making tunnels. Well, yesterday was Earth Day, and I super hope that you guys did something amazing for the earth to make it happy, whether that was turning off lights in your house or turning off the water and not wasting the water, or if that was picking up garbage or doing some recycling or reusing something. I hope that they did something amazing. So something that we did here is we did a little experiment where we planted something. It's always nice to plant something too. So what we did is we took a bean. I don't know if you can see my little white bean, but we took a bean and a plastic bag, and all we did was, I'll get it out and I'll show you. Oops. We took some paper towels and we got them all nice and wet. And then you just kind of fold them. So I took 2 paper towels and I got them all wet and I folded them, and then I'm gonna put them in the bottom of my bag. And I'll fold this one and I'll kind of put that one in the bottom of my bag. Then I can take my beans and I can put them right on that wet paper towel.
And what is it gonna do to the beans?
Wow, we'll talk about it. And
All
then
right.
when I get to the top of my bag, I can kind of close it up, and maybe I just want to leave just a little bit of that bag open, just a little bit, and close the rest of it up. And then I made a sticker for the top of it. I just used paper and I kind of taped it on. It says My Sprout. So what I want these beans to do is I want them to grow inside my bag. But here's the question. How do things usually grow? Don't answer yet. I want them to answer first. How did we learn things grow? In the beginning of the year, we talked about how things grow, and we realized that they need something. Do you know what they need?
They need lots of sun.
They need sunshine for sure.
They need water.
They need rain, or if you take a hose and water them. So we made a song and we said, rain and sun, rain and sun, rain and sun make the seeds grow. Well, this could be kind of like our rain. We got those paper towels nice and wet, so that could be the water, that could be the rain. And I could maybe think of a place to put this where it could get the sun. Where do you think I could put this so it would get sun?
If there's like no sun, but if there, like, you could put it by like a light, or like if there is sun, you could put it just set it outside and kind of set it up and open a spot.
Great ideas. But I'm not gonna put it outside and I'm not gonna put it by a light. I'm gonna put it somewhere in the house that gives light into your house.
The lamp?
No, what's something that brings light into your house? You can even look out of it.
Oh, the window.
I'm gonna put it in the window. I'm gonna tape my bag right up into the window so the sun can shine right on my seeds. So my seeds will have sun and light, and my seeds will have that water and that in those wet paper towels. Now, is it weird when you plant seeds outside? Do you plant them in wet paper towels?
No.
What do you plant them in?
You plant them in the ground and then just put water in it.
You plant them in the dirt. So this is a very silly way to try to grow something. Usually when you're growing something, you need dirt along with your sun and your rain or your water. But this time we're gonna try and see if we can grow something just with these wet paper towels in this plastic bag. We're gonna watch and see what happens because it's an experiment. Now, my tag up here says my sprout. It has my name and it has the date that I put them in the bag. And what I could do is I could try to keep track of how many days it takes to grow. So I could make a mark for every day until it grows. So it didn't grow today, so I could make a mark. And it didn't grow yesterday, so I could make a mark. And if it doesn't grow tomorrow, I'll make another mark. And then I can count how many marks I have until I see them starting to grow. And I can't wait for them to start to grow because I can't wait to see what they're gonna look like. So I'm gonna hang this in my window and then I'll make sure to show you again what it looks like every day until they grow. And maybe this is something you guys want to try at home. It's a pretty easy thing to do. And that's what we did for Earth Day, is we planted something. All right, we have been talking a lot about what? What have we been talking about, guys?
We've been talking about worms.
We've been talking about worms. We know a lot about worms. We know that they don't have any arms and legs. We know that they don't have, what?
They don't have any eyes or ears.
They don't have eyes or ears. Do they have a nose?
No.
They don't have a nose. How do they breathe again?
They breathe through their skin.
They breathe through their skin. We realize that because they don't have arms or legs, that they just wiggle around. They use their bodies to wiggle around. And sometimes when their bodies are wiggling around, they can even make shapes and letters and numbers kind of with their bodies, because their bodies move and wiggle because they don't have any bones in their body. So we've learned so much about worms. We also learned, because we were reading books that make us very smart, we also learned that worms eat dirt and they make tunnels in the ground. So we've learned a lot about worms.
Mm-hmm.
One more thing that I kind of want to learn about worms is I want to know what else they eat. Do they only eat dirt or do they eat other things? So how am I going to find out this information?
Well,
how can I find out what worms eat? If I don't really know, how can I find it out?
you could try to look for a book.
I could. If I have a book about worms, I could look inside the book and the answers might be in there. What if I don't have a book about a worm?
Maybe you could take like your mom's phone or like your iPad or something, and then search up what worms eat, and then you could just find it out that way.
That's right. You could take a computer or an iPad or maybe a grown-up's phone in the house if they'll share with you and work with you. You could search up what do worms eat. Or maybe even before you do that, you could think. So that's what Geveret Fladwood did. I was thinking, I wonder what worms eat. And I drew some pictures before I looked it up. So this is what I did. I kind of wondered if worms eat cheese.
Oh, that's it.
Do you think worms eat cheese?
I'm not sure. Maybe like the small ones?
Maybe. Then I wondered, do worms eat lollipops? I thought maybe they might like to lick a lollipop. I don't know.
Maybe.
And then I wondered, do worms eat apples? I don't know. And then I thought, you know, I really like hamburgers. Maybe worms eat hamburgers.
Maybe.
And then I was wondering, do worms eat lettuce? Because I like to eat lettuce in my salad, so maybe worms like it.
I've actually seen like some YouTube videos where they have like pet worms and they feed it lettuce and they eat it.
Oh, interesting. I was wondering if worms ate oranges.
Oh.
Maybe. Then I was thinking, do worms eat bananas?
Maybe.
And then I was wondering, one of my favorite things in the world is coffee. So I thought maybe, do worms eat coffee? Do they drink coffee?
No.
And then I thought, do worms eat broccoli? Because I like broccoli. And then I was wondering if worms eat noodles. And then I was wondering if worms eat chicken. So what I did is I drew pictures of all of the things I was wondering. And then I wrote the word underneath. You don't have to do all of that. You could draw the pictures and have a grown-up help you write the words, or you don't even have to write the words. You could just draw the pictures. And then I cut it all out. And then I made a graph. And on one side of my graph, I wrote the word yes, Y-E-S. And on the other side of my graph, I wrote no, N-O. O, and then I put a line in the middle. And then I did my research and I looked up the information on my phone. I looked up whether or not the worms ate these things. And do you know what I found out? I found out that worms do eat bananas. So where do I have to put that?
You have to put it in the yes pile.
On the yes side. And I found out that worms do eat broccoli. And I found out that worms do eat apples. And I found out that worms do eat oranges. And I found out something really silly. I found out that worms do eat coffee. But they don't drink coffee in a cup like Geveret Fladwood does in the morning.
So is it like coffee beans?
Not coffee beans, but they're called coffee grounds. So when you grind up the beans, you make this something called coffee grounds. So if you put that in your garden, the worms will actually eat that. It's actually very good for them. And I found out that worms eat lettuce. But here's what I found out. Worms do not eat hamburgers. Worms do not eat cheese. Worms do not eat lollipops. Worms do not eat noodles. And worms do not eat chicken. So some of the things they eat and some of the things they don't eat. Then I wanted to count up how many things they do eat. So you want to count with me?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So 6 of the things that I was wondering about, they did eat. Now let's see how many things that I was wondering about that they didn't eat.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So which side has more?
The yes pile.
The yes side. So these are the things I was wondering. Maybe you're wondering different things that worms eat. So you could draw pictures of the things you're wondering about and make your own graph and do your own research about what worms eat. Now the coolest thing about a worm that I have to tell you before we end right now is that after worms eat, so they don't eat any of these things, we'll get those off our chart, but after worms eat banana peels and broccoli and apple skins and lettuce and coffee grounds and the orange skins, after they eat those things in the dirt, they also eat leaves, they also eat the dirt, they poop a lot. Worms poop a lot. Did you know that?
Nope.
And the more they poop, the better your garden is. Did you know that?
No.
So you want worms to poop a lot. So the cool thing is that you could take like a little container or a little box and you could put some dirt in it. And when you're done eating your banana peels, you could take the peels and put it in that box with all of the dirt. And when you're done eating your broccoli, you could put it into the box with all the dirt. And when you're done eating your apple, maybe you want to take the skin and the stem and the leaf and put it all in that dirt. And the coffee grounds, you could put it in the dirt. And when you put all of that in the dirt with the worms, they'll eat it all up. And then you could put all of that into the garden with all of that good worm poop. And that worm poop is going to make your plants grow so amazing, and it's going to make that dirt so good. So worms actually help the world. They help the earth. They make the earth happy because they poop so much in the dirt, and that worm poop makes everything grow so great. So you want a lot of worms in your garden. You do. And you could do something called composting, which is putting all of that stuff in the dirt with the worms so they eat it all up and they poop a lot and they make your garden really good.
We should do that.
We will. We could do some composting. And if you don't throw this stuff into the garbage, what are you doing? You're helping the
environment.
World. You're helping the world because you're not making a big garbage pile with all your food. You're putting it back into the dirt and the worms are eating it, so you're helping the world. Pretty amazing, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to end for now, but I'm going to make another video where I start reading some more chapters of our Garden Wigglers book. Okay, so maybe you want to find that video where we read more about worms and learn more about worms and get really, really, really
smart.
Bye, guys. Have a great day.